little strange, you're gonna get a bullet. Not a warning, not a question, a bullet.
So as I reflect on the latest Tarantino film, I find myself pondering, can there be a such thing as too much Tarantino? In one of his own films, that is. Now, being that Mr. Tarantino is probably my favorite director, you may believe I'm biased. You may be right. But for now, I'm answering my own question with maybe, because I have yet to come to a conclusion. But upon talking to the voices in my head, I have come to realize why I asked myself this question in the first place. Tarantino's 8th film, appropriately titled The Hateful Eight, is lower tier for the famed director, but still upper echelon of 2015. Hateful Eight feels like a mixture of Reservoir Dogs and 2012's Django Unchained. The majority of the film takes place inside one large room, while the setting and blood splatter is most definitely Django-esque. As far as this room and setting goes, it takes place mostly in Minnie's haberdashery, where we find a little more than 8 characters cooped up inside due to the harsh blizzard among them. This is the part that makes me wonder, however, as to why Tarantino decided to film in his glorious 70mm and then keep the story secluded to a confined space indoors. Don't get me wrong, the landscape shots are beautiful as expected, and everything does have a crisp and clean look to it, but was it worth it when the majority of the shooting took place in a cabin-like building? Now, because this isn't just any director we're talking about here, this is a man who not only confines great talent to one room, but even has the guts to confine one actor to a chair for the entirety of the film. He also makes this a 3-hour event with an intermission, and quite frankly, does pretty much whatever he wants. Tarantino is one of the most stylized directors in the business, and you better believe his vision is unlike any other. This leads me to an aspect of the film that first made me ponder the question in the beginning. Is there too much Tarantino in a Tarantino film? I don't know, but there is certainly an excess of blood and gore. Now, duh, of course there is, but The Hateful Eight is different. The Bride in Kill Bill may have massacred 88 warriors in a restaurant for revenge, and Django shot a whole plantation to smithereens, but this is different. What those two films have, The Hateful Eight does not have, is that fun atmosphere to it. Where Kill Bill and Django are over the top, you can't help but grin in a guilty but awing fashion at the former two. For the newest installment, it's as bloody or more so, but you don't necessarily have as much fun with it as Tarantino was so expertly captured in his previous films. I love when Marvin gets shot in the face. I love Donnie Donowitz cracking skulls with a baseball bat. I didn't necessarily love the violence in this film. It's much heavier, and it's cringe-filled a lot more than usual.
I see you ain't got mixed emotions about bringing a woman to a rope.
By woman, you mean her? No, I do not have mixed emotions.
So you taking in the Red Rock to hang?
You bet.
You gonna wait around and watch it?
Oh, you know I am. I want to hear her neck snap with my own 2 ears. You never wait to watch him hang?
My bound is never hang, because I never bring him in alive.
Never.
Never, ever. We talked about this in Chattanooga. Bringing desperate men in alive is a good way to get yourself dead.
Can't catch me sleeping if I don't close my eyes.
I don't want to work that hard.
No one said a job's supposed to be easy.
No one said it's supposed to be that hard, neither. It's that little lady. That's why they call him the hangman. When the handbill says dead or alive, the rest of us shoot you in the back up on top of a perch somewhere and bring you in dead over a saddle. But when John Roof, the hangman, catches you, you don't die from no bullet in the back. Mm-mm. When the hangman catches you, you hang.
All that being said, if you've ever enjoyed a good game of Clue, then you may enjoy this movie after all. Yes, it's over the top in every sense it can be, from its racial slurs to its violence to its runtime. It's still an entertaining film nonetheless, and it really does unfold like we're watching a game of Clue, where when you're playing it, it may have been Colonel Mustard in the library with the screwdriver. This movie is kind of like watching that end result happen from the beginning and all the way throughout. We watch these 8+ characters build endless tension with one another until they all decide to let loose in this cold night from hell. Tarantino proves he's one of the best at writing characters and dialogue. Every person we meet speaks in a way that only Tarantino can make them, and as a fan, I loved every moment of those scenes regardless of the runtime. I enjoyed every conversation each character had, and not only are there no bad characters, there are no bad performances either. Jennifer Jason Leigh has just received the Best Supporting Actress nomination, and rightfully so. Her capability to take a beating as well as out-crazy the big boys proves to be nomination-worthy as the murderous outlaw Daisy Domergue. Samuel L. Jackson is the overall lead in this A-game ensemble. The Civil War surviving, badass bounty hunting, smooth-talking man with an experienced and clever mind is another great character to add to the books. and Jackson proved once again that he gives his best work when working with his frequent collaborator. And if you want to talk about who gets good performances out of who, we got Michael Madsen back and turning in some decent stuff. He plays Joe Gage, the quiet cowboy who also happens to be a tough guy on his way home to Mama. The list goes on with a good performance from Tim Roth, who evidently seems like he's stuck in a role written for Christoph Waltz. We get some great stuff from Kurt Russell as John Ruth, or the Hangman, who has captured Domergue. And then Walter Goggins, Bruce Dern, and Damien Bachur round up the last of these Hateful Eight men. All good in their respective performances as well. With a rich and original score from Ennio Morricone, great visuals and camera work, and all around a great ensemble piece, if you're this filmmaker's fan, then you should definitely see it. It's not that it's too Tarantino, it's that it's too excessive in everything it does, and a few wisecracks and jokes aren't enough to lighten the mood. Almost makes one wonder if he used this beautiful 70mm format just to glorify the excess violence he's giving us. And knowing the writer-director, would it even surprise you?
Again, on the same page mostly
Yeah,
here.
we were pretty much on the same page.
Yeah,
the
we
whole
saw this
episode.
one. So let's talk about the story of how we went and saw
Yeah.
this. We went and saw the Roadshow in New York City over break.
Yeah, really cool.
Which is a really cool experience, and once in a lifetime, kind of very unique.
Yeah, it doesn't
I mean,
happen a lot.
It doesn't happen a lot. It used to happen a lot.
Yeah.
Not anymore. But now that we've experienced something like that, it's awesome. I think it's great.
Yeah, it was really cool. I'm really, really glad I did it. You're a madman. You did Revenant the same day.
I did
You're
Revenant
insane.
that same morning. Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, I mean, I was trying to get it all done before.
New Year's,
so I
right?
could do my list.
Right.
Yeah, but it ended up actually mattering because I procrastinated the whole time.
Same.
Anyways,
That's all right. Yeah,
as
no.
far as the actual movie goes, I think we're on the same page here. I think
Yeah.
it's lower echelon Tarantino. I think it's somewhere
But
in the middle of
still-
his. But I still enjoyed it. I still think it was really good.
still really good. It's not like I didn't dislike it by any means. I would go. I would watch it again.
Yeah.
It's just it was a little. I was hoping for a little bit better.
It's certainly a tale of two halves. Now, the first half moves very slowly, and it sets things up, and it's important setup and
Yeah.
stuff. So the second
Very
act,
important.
exploitation and explosion and gore and blood and guts and everything.
And blah, blah, blah.
It kind of justifies
sense.
that long first half, but it's still a long first half. And Tarantino, always my biggest problem with Tarantino is that he needs an editor. He needs a really good editor, and he used to have one back in like Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs days. But recently, I think Django's biggest problem is that it's long, and I think, again, Hateful Eight's biggest problem is that it's long.
Yeah.
It just runs too long, and the
little
scenes
bit.
run too long, and the dialogue stretches too thin.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
it just doesn't work as well for me as some of his other crisper, tighter dialogue scenes.
Yeah, and I love the way he writes characters and the way he writes dialog I don't think anybody can quite do it like him.
And that is just as juicy here.
Yeah, and again, there is so much. There is a monologue from a certain character that is just like you're gripped.
Yeah.
You're gripped.
And I think
It's awesome.
he gets great performances. I think
Yeah, he really
this
does.
might be one of Jackson's best performances.
Yeah, it's up there since
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah,
It's up there.
but I mean, I think he's the secret MVP of Django personally. I
No,
think
yeah.
he's wonderful in Django.
absolutely.
He's obviously wonderful in Pulp Fiction.
I think the three
I
main
think he's
leads
great
in
in
Django
Jackie
are-
Brown too. I mean,
yeah, he was good in that.
but like this is his spotlight. He kind of takes the show
Yeah.
a lot of the time, and then Jennifer Jason Leigh tries to take it from him. She's
But
the
not in
girl
an
in the
obnoxious
boys' house.
fashion.
She's the girl in the boys' house, and
Yeah.
they put her
She's
through the
the
ringer, kind of like DiCaprio and Revenant. They put her through the ringer,
there's some
and she's
similarities there.
excellent. Kurt Russell channeling his John Wayne. It's a good performance. Walton Goggins is excellent.
Yeah,
He
I didn't
comes
like
up-
him at first, but as the movie goes along, he grows on.
Second
me.
act reveals things about him, just his character in general, not like specific plot things, but like
Yeah.
character-wise, that he just gets better and better as it
Yeah,
goes
yeah.
along. And the dialogue gets crisper and crisper, but I agree about the violence.
It's just, and I think even the racial slurs, I get it. It takes place during that kind of time period, but it's still just like it doesn't need to. It's necessary to be there, but not to the extent that it is.
And there are
A little too
moments
much.
that are like very viscerally affecting.
Yeah.
And it works, but there are other moments where I'm just like, that's unnecessary.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
excessive,
That's-
and it just doesn't work.
We saw that 3 times already. Why a fourth?
Exactly.
Yeah.
From different angles.
Yep.
The score is wonderful. The
Yeah,
score is
great, great,
amazing.
great.
Should win the Oscar, but I don't know if it will. I think
I
it
might.
will.
It might.
I think it will. But let's get to ratings and final thoughts. I think
Sure.
Tarantino-wise, I put it in the middle. I think
for the year, it's up
upper
there.
echelon, top 30, definitely. I mean, I've seen a lot.
Yeah, you've seen a lot more than I
might be
have,
like
but-
top 15, top 20 for you.
Yeah, it's top 15
we're
for
both,
me. But
we're
I've
both
seen-
8s, right?
Yeah,
so.
8 out of 10. Really,
8.
This and 8 for 8 for 8. Yeah, no. I just bleh. It's a really, really strong 8. Both that and Star Wars were like approaching 8.5, but never quite got
Star
there.
Wars did hit 8.5 for me.
Yeah, don't even ask me how I do this. It's something, it just does or doesn't. I have no rhyme or reason.
He just kind of guesses. He flips
Yeah,
a coin.
I'm like,
he
and-
flips a 10-sided coin, and whatever it lands on, that's what
All
it is.
right.
The 70
yeah, strong
millimeter, as far I think there's something kind of really funny about the 70 millimeter, and he shoots in these claustrophobic like areas and stuff.
I think it's on purpose.
I think it's totally
Yeah,
on purpose, and I
because
think it's
he's
really
that-
funny.
He's that kind of guy.
I think it's really funny
Yeah.
and kind of sardonic that he does it. On the other
Would
hand,
make sense for Tarantino.
On the other
And-
hand, I really would have liked to see Django in like 70 millimeter. That would have been nice.
Oh, yeah.
that would have been really cool.
But do you think that he made this is arguably his bloodiest movie to date, and he did it in what's supposed to be the nicest way to film possible? Do you think there's any?
I think there is.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there's a correlation with everything he does, to be completely honest.
Wouldn't doubt it.